So it finished Crystal Palace 0, Nottingham Forest 0. And apparently I'm completely wrong. Well, let's find out. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, chat. Good evening, panel. Good evening, the Nottingham Forest world. Hope you are all well. And welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, where we're going to dissect. We're going to dissect yesterday's games. We've all got differing opinions on the panel. I'm sure there's all differing opinions in the chat, but we're going to cover everything as we normally do. So if you're weak in the stomach, go watch another YouTube channel. Anyway, I hope you guys are well. Welcome aboard. We've already got Chris the Legend with his 9 months. Thank you so much. Man City in the mud and Arsenal for the title. I don't know. Maybe Simple As is starting to get ahead of himself. I'll tell you that now. And Dina, how are you boys? You well? You well rested over the weekend? How's it all going?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, lots of football. Nice.
Yeah, it's been a busy football weekend. Yeah. I mean, soak it up, boys. Fuck off for 2 weeks now.
Oh, I know.
Mind you,
I might rewatch some of the weekends.
The good side is it gives Taiwo that extra time, doesn't it, to get back? That's the positive.
Yeah, but he'll still be out. He'll still be out, won't he? And then it's going to get close to the African Cup of Nations, which worries me a little bit as well, because it's going to be out for that. We'll talk about the strikers as well, because it is a little bit worrying. I want to start with the positives, though, and seeing that you're wearing the Corinthians top. Murillo, mate, shiny new toy. You were crying out for him day one, and he did not disappoint yesterday at all. Chat, what do you lot think of Murillo? And hit the floor.
Well, I think did not disappoint is a bit of an understatement, isn't it? He looks fantastic. I mean, you know, let's hope that he can continue, because if he continues in that vein of form, wow. Because he's not just a good defender. He's good at everything. I mean, we all saw what he did. I mean, if that goal had gone in, my God. And how many other Forest players, how many other Forest defenders in particular would do that? Not even the likes of God Felipe or Niakate would not be able to have that. And he's only a little guy, you know, but he's built like a tank. And also, he's fantastic. He is a fantastic defender as well. He's good in the air for a short guy. He's got it all, hasn't he? He's got it all.
Yes.
Kudos to the recruitment team, by the way.
And kudos to Mr. High Press over there, who was adamant about his passing and his breaking through the lines, Dino. That's something you were harping on a lot about when you did the research into his background. And I think that's kind of coming into fruition a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I thought Cooper bought him for, to be honest, or the club bought him for, because we could never get out last year, could we? It was like long ball to Jono, and now we've not got Jono. And the balls to Jono were hit and miss, weren't they? And I think he was looking for a ball-playing centre-back, and that's definitely what we've got. And he's a good centre-back as well. And we've got a Brazilian wonder kid. How about that? We've got 2.
We had 3. One's in Olympiacos. Sorry.
Kid,
yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention his passing as well, amongst all the other things. His passing is
ridiculous.
Wonderful to see.
Yeah, and it's long and short range passing that he's got. That's complete. However, is it fair to say slow down? Like, how many times have we hyped up a player? How many times have we not hyped up a player and they've kind of been good? Is it worth just saying, it's only been 2 games. Yes, he's impressed. You're shaking your head and you're ready to let go, yeah?
I'm a football fan. Sorry, you got to grasp these moments. You know what I mean? You've got to grasp them.
When you see a centre back, see a centre back doing a John Barnes run versus Brazil, was it when he did that run?
Yeah.
Honestly, the finish was actually easier than the run, wasn't it? At the end.
Should he have scored it, Dino? Should he have scored it?
Yeah, should have scored. Either side of him by a foot, it would have probably gone in.
Ooh,
it's like he did the Harvard. You know what I'll say, right? I think that run clouded a lot of things yesterday. I didn't really care about the run. I was more interested in how he performed defensively. At the end of the day, for me, his number one role in that department is to keep clean sheets. And that's where I thought he excelled. Like, he was in the right position. He moved You know, the ball forward nicely. He's just huge, isn't he? It's like if you didn't know he was chiseled, you'd think he's fat. Do you know what I mean? He just really does fill out that shirt. And that's what's more important to me than the run. That's why I just like that run for me just clouds everything a little bit. And I think we should be more focusing on his defensive aspects. Yes, it's nice to have a ball playing centre back, but we need a player who, the important thing for me is that he can break forward through that defensive line into the midfield, you know, and we haven't had it. Niakate can do it. We've seen Felipe do it when his knee isn't niggling him. But this is what we've been crying out for on this channel. This is why we've said Worrell isn't good enough, McKenna's not good enough, Cook's not good enough. And I'm starting to think that people are seeing the difference now in the levels you need for Premier League. Go on,
can I just ask people not to bring up political stuff in the chat? This is a football channel. We don't want any fallings out and nothing political in the chat. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will not be praying for Israel.
Well, there you go. You see, we always saw no political stuff in the chat, please.
Yeah. So we'll keep it football for tonight.
He's a sort of player, though, Murillo, that if he did go to a back three and put Murillo in the middle, he could actually come out and almost be a CDM, couldn't he? He's got the strength, and you know, potentially for me, and listen, he's in as a centre back, but for me, he could play that role. CDM.
Are you talking about that John Stone role that we're seeing with Man City, where he's
John Stone's coming out into the midfield? Yeah. For me, people rave about John Stone's passing, but it's not that great.
Yeah, but he does that role well, though, doesn't he?
Passing absolutely blitzes John Stones. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you think he's a permanent fixture now, Ant?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
until he gets injured.
Until proven otherwise, I think he has to be. But I do think that we need to keep him at centre back as well, because he's a great centre back, and you know the guy's played 2 games, so give him time. You know, maybe as he progresses, as he matures, as he settles into the role, maybe we can think about pushing him further forward. But right now, I think as a centre back, he's fantastic. And as I often say, we need to forget about formations and things because players do move about. And you saw yesterday, he went on a run and had a shot. So, you know, he can move about. He can move into that centre midfield role.
Yeah. Remember Rio Ferdinand bringing it out? And
that's
sort of centre back. Yeah. It's got a great touch on him. I mean, the dribble. Yeah.
Are you guys happy with Bolly as the partnership? Because this is the question I'm asking chat. Bolly, I think, has been our player of the season so far in terms of consistency. But let me ask you both this in chat. What would you do here? Felipe's fit for the Luton match, let's just say, and he's got minutes in his legs, or in his case, his knee. And you're going to play a back 4. Who's your back 2? Who's your centre backs? Let's kick you off with this one, Dino.
Bolly, you can't drop. You just can't drop him. So it's got to be Bolly and Murillo for me. Even if Felipe's fully fit, you can't drop a player playing like Bolly. He's been Mr. Consistent all season.
And
yeah, I couldn't agree more. At the moment, I mean, I absolutely adore Felipe and I absolutely adore Niakate. But at this moment in time, Bolly and Murillo, you know, let's be fair. Let's see him against a better team than we've seen them against, because Crystal Palace posed 0 threat. Let's bear that in mind. 0 threat. So we need to see them against and we've got Luton next, so you know they could be in for a hard time. No, we need to see. Keep them in 100%, but not judge them too much until they've played a proper side that can, you know, actually attack.
So you're not even considering Niakate in this equation?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Listen, who's been our player of the season so far?
Niakate has not performed any better than I saw Murillo perform on Saturday. And I adore Niakate. I would have said, you know, without doubt, Felipe Niakate are the ones. But, you know, I'm here to change my mind if I see evidence to the contrary. And what I saw against Crystal Palace has changed my mind. And they are the 2. As Dino said, you can't drop Bolly. He's been our best player, our best
this season, 100%.
Yeah, this season.
The thing is, what we're not saying, Wolverine, is we're not saying that Niakate's shit or anything like it. What we're saying is you can't drop Bolly at the minute.
And Bolly will get injured. He will get injured.
Of course he will. Of course he will.
Probably fairly soon.
Let's say Murillo. It's in the it is in the
Murillo
stars.
Can't get injured, man, unless Superman freaking breaks him over his knee. How do you injure that? Don't no one say Jinx Serene. I swear to God,
everybody's injured in our club, mate, at some point.
Yeah, but
Tyler can do that even if you don't play.
There's a little revisionism going on here. I mean, firstly, I haven't heard either of you say Worrell or McKenna. Are they even worth being at the club anymore? I'm not saying it disrespectfully, but we've still got Omar Bamadeli. You've now got Niakate. Look, if we look at our centre backs, so we've got Niakate, Worrell, McKenna, Bolly, Murillo. That's 5. Who am I missing? There's another one. Felipe, how could I forget Felipe? That's already 6. I feel that initially the recruitment was designed on a back 5, and it feels like finally we are settling into a back 4. Should we be getting rid of a couple of these in the January window? And if so, who so?
McKenna. I think Worrell deserves to stay. He's just signed a new contract. He had a good back half the season, last 6 or 7 games. And he started off okay this season. I think what Worrell is suffering from is his earlier season disasters, personally. So
I think
he's definitely not a starter.
No way. I think we can afford to carry 5 centre backs. I don't think it's an issue.
We need to, and we got 11 injuries.
Especially if we have to go to a back 3, then you definitely need to have at least 5. So I don't see an issue.
Yeah, which we will against some clubs, won't we?
The odd man out, unfortunately.
Yeah,
great Championship player. Not such a good Premier League player.
Might go back to Aberdeen.
You know what I would do? I'd get rid of them both and buy another one. Get rid of 2, buy one. Another young kid, another Omar Bamadeli style player, work him into the system. That's what I would do personally. I do think we got too many, though. I think we're very light up front. One thing that was banding around, I just want to say one final thing on the defense before we move on. With Taiwo being injured, there's a lot of talks about going all Halford-like with Murillo. Would anyone Greg Halford him and put him up front, freaking Billy Davis style, man? Because we are going to be looking light up front, and I kind of want to get onto the issues we got going forward. Would anyone put Murillo up front?
Greg Halford. Why'd you pick Greg Halford? You could have picked
freaking Davies chucked him up. Don't you remember?
You could have picked Paul Warhurst, who had an amazing transfer.
But he was like 6'6", wasn't he?
Yeah,
Greg Halford.
How tall's Murillo? He doesn't look that tall. I'd put him on about 6'1".
6'1", maybe. Don't know. Hopefully, chat.
I'm thinking of Mick Harford.
No. You remember the guy? Where was he from, chat? I think we got him from Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Was it? I can't remember. It was like
Dion Dublin. Keith, that's a good call. Dion Dublin. He was a centre back, wasn't he?
True. Look, joking aside, because I'm agreeing with the chat here, and I'm going to call it straight. Wood is shite. I thought there's a few people saying, "Oh, he was holding the ball up and all this crap," right?
He did.
Yeah, well, he's meant to be a striker, and he got 0 shots. He has lead in his feet.
Right. I was thinking about this. He is absolutely the wrong person for the kind of football we want to play. We need a player, a centre forward with pace and who can score goals. Unfortunately, that's not Chris. Neither of those are Chris Ford's forte.
Exactly.
He's an old-fashioned hold the ball up and lay it off to somebody. That ain't what we play. So it's not what we need. So I'm not going to say he's a crap player because he's not. He's just not playing in a system that will ever suit him. And he will actually stop us doing what we want to do because he's not got the pace. And also, well, we'll go on to MGW in a bit. But yeah, with Wood, it's not his game, is it? It's not his game. The way we want to
you're right. Football's not his game. He's shit. He's the most shocking player that's ever put. Well, hang on a minute.
Where did that come from?
He's not far off.
I want to hear this.
He's absolutely shocking. And I'm sorry, I've seen him, I've given him chances. I've seen enough of him now to tell you that he's shit. And I don't want to pull another Forest shirt on again.
I'm sorry.
You don't want to. You don't want him to.
I don't want him to pull another Forest shirt on again.
He was fantastic.
Huh?
You must be wrong because after the match, Steve Cooper said he played really well, did a lot of running off the ball, a lot of shielding. So if Steve Cooper says that,
Steve Cooper needs his head looking at then.
But then he
Do you
contradicted
think
it,
Pep would have
didn't
said
he?
that? Do you think Pep would have said that? Chris Wood was brilliant today. No. Do you
He
think
might have
Arteta
done,
would
but
have
he'd
said
been
that?
lying.
No.
No, but
Arteta
he
may have said it actually
contradicted.
because he likes Havertz. He's
It-
shocking.
It was just weird, wasn't it? Because Cooper did say what Ant said, but then he said, but I don't think Chris Wood would agree. I'm paraphrasing a little. He goes, I don't think he would have thought he had a good game the way he wanted to have a game or something like that. There's a lot of people. I mean, Salenzi Mark II, at least Salenzi
was
wasn't
better.
19 million. Nah,
Salenzi
Salenzi wasn't better, man.
Salenzi was better.
No, he wasn't, man.
He
I
was.
like Salenzi. He had a good game.
He had a good game, yeah.
He
You
did,
can't
he had
live
a
off
good
that
game.
Man City tapping forever. I'm sorry.
The
Right, that's a
Sheffield
good idea,
United winner?
Chris. He's going to score there. I like that. Wood will score a 30-yarder. Let's say against Liverpool.
Oh, God,
Oh,
here we
he
go
did.
again.
There you go.
Here we go
If
again.
he
I hope
did.
he does.
That's like reverse psychology, that is.
I hope he does.
He's
You know
not
what-
good
you
enough.
know
man.
what-
He's not
you know
good
what, when
enough.
a player's
I don't even
not
know if he's
very
good enough
good.
for the championship, personally. I could
You
see
know-
him
you
at
know
somewhere
how a
like
player-
Notts or Derby.
You know when a player's not very good, but you want him to just do something. That's
Yeah.
how I was.
Yeah,
against
but
Palace.
how long
Just
can you wait,
score.
Alan?
Just
How long
score.
can you wait? How long can you give him?
It's like,
Yeah, I
it
think
reminds me a
we'll
little
agree.
of,
We may
Mate.
agree or disagree as whether he's a decent player or not, but I think we all agree he's not the player for us. I don't think there's any,
Yeah.
not the way we
he
wanna
doesn't
play
see the
football.
style.
Let me
He doesn't
answer
see the
this,
style.
please. Let me answer this. I can't look at those shorts because Red Dog. I'm going to have to take it off the screen.
You're hanging out there.
I didn't realize it was. Didn't realize it was that picture until I put it up on the screen. Right. No one creates anything for him. He's no good in. Everybody's got this obsession with him. He's great in the air. He cannot jump. He's watched the film White Men Can't Jump. Must be 50 times, right? He cannot jump off the floor. He's terrible in the air. He doesn't win a header. He doesn't win. He holds the ball up, but me and my mum in the wheelchair could hold the ball up in midfield, man. It's so easy. Come on. Striker, you've got to score a goal. He's not a patch on Taiwo. Not a patch.
But the question stands, Dino, is he getting any crossing supply? Because it was only really Aurier and Tuffalo that was crossing it in yesterday.
Mate, one was put on his head against, was it Brentford?
Yeah.
And he kind of jumped that far off the floor and it flicked off his head and he was open. Honestly.
Scored
Sorry.
a good goal against Sheffield. A winning goal
Sheffield.
against Sheffield.
Exactly. He scored against Sheffield United, Dino. Bagged the 3 points. That's 2 goals. Now each goal's only worth 8.5 million.
No,
No,
not for
9.5
me.
million.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris, if you're watching this. I've got nothing personal against you, but you're shit, man. Honestly.
All right, so what do we do then?
Chris, I tried.
He adds nothing. We've got 2 fast men generally down the left and right, and then we've got then we've got Taiwo fast down the middle, and then all of a sudden, thanks Red Dog, because it's really it's
really getting him excited.
Don't do it with the shorts off, for God's sake. Brett's got it right. Brett's got it right there.
Okay, but we got to have this debate now. Again, we're not going to shirk the topics. Taiwo's out for a month, if you believe Cooper. You never know with the magic sponges, right? Let's assume he is out for a month. And we have to talk about, because there'll be the African Cup of Nations before long as well in the new year. Yeah, so that leaves us with Wood and Origi. And I'm not going to lie, right? If you're going to have a go at Wood, you're going to have a go at Origi. Origi's offered nothing. He doesn't look match sharp, doesn't he?
I said when we signed
one at a time. Let's hold on. Let's go to you, Ant. Go on.
No, I said at the time, it's shit. What the fuck we bought him for? It's shit. Origi. You know, that's it. I can't say any more. I don't care whether it's Wood or Origi. They're both shite. Well,
I don't think he's going to
suit our style.
I don't think he's going to be much better, but he hasn't had as many chances as Wood yet. But I would go with this. I was going to say exactly the same as Tricky McKeer. I hate saying it. I think we've got to play the false 9.
Who?
MGW.
I knew that was
He's
coming.
shooting is worse than Woods, man. Come on, you got to be consistent here. MGW, for all his skills, his shooting is not there. It is not there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is where you've got the two that have to come in as inverted forwards rather than inverted wingers, inverted forwards, and it's got to be them two up top when we're in the attacking phase.
But
Elanga can't score either.
You got to have somebody like
Mate,
Danilo
it's the-
coming through as well and going
Yeah.
past the forward.
It's the
But
best
this
of a
is a
bad
big
bunch.
change. But that's such a change to what we've been trying to build that it's like starting again, isn't it?
Agreed.
It is, but if your 2-8s get forward, then
2-8s.
not your right hand 8. Your 2-8s get
2-8.
forward.
You've got a right hand 8 and a left.
Yeah, if you've got Alanga, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then your 2-8s, and then MGW, you've got 5 on the attack there. Somebody's got to score, man. You can't just rely on Taiwo for the rest of our days. I'm sorry. The rest of the team need to pitch in with some goals.
This is why I was only half joking. Murillo up front, screw it.
Yeah,
surely
why
in
not?
January, there must be a young up-and-coming striker somewhere.
Yeah.
A young up-and-coming quick striker.
There's 3 from Brazil.
I don't even care if he's not a great goal scorer, just as long as he's there and he can bring other people, and other people can then get onto loose balls and things. At the moment, with likes of Chris Wood and Origi, they're not even
Can we
there.
do a poll?
So
On what?
it's poll time.
Up front, Murillo or Origi or Wood.
They'll troll and put Murillo. They'll troll and put Murillo.
Well, there's a few
Yeah.
Murillos in the chat. That's why I said
There's a
that.
lot of
The guy has
Murillos.
one run up. The guy has one run up the field and a shot that he.
That's my point,
wasn't
man.
brilliant.
Have
And all of a
McKenna up
sudden,
front.
it's got to be our centre forward.
I am telling you that run absolutely overshadowed how boring that game was. And I've replied to loads of the messages in the comments, and I said in every message, you're more than welcome to disagree with my thoughts, but that was one of the most boring matches I've ever watched, with one highlight, Murillo. And I don't know, boys. I didn't like what I saw yesterday. It was Crystal Palace's C team. We should be taking 3 points. I'm sorry, I'm not going to change my stance on that. Roy Hodgson confirmed it for me after the match. He basically came out and admitted he'd set up for a draw. You know what I mean? You could tell with the injuries, and it was main injuries for him. I know we had a couple out, yeah, but I'd rather have the ones we had out than he had out. I'd have fancied us a lot more. I see it as 2 points dropped. I'm sorry. We should have comfortably won that game, and we were just spending too much time sideways balling, man. And that's my take on it. And I fully understand loads of people, I think nearly everyone disagreed with my player ratings. That's fine. We're all here for our own opinions. But how did you boys see it overall? Do you think we dropped 2 points?
Definitely against that team. I mean, there were some positive signs in it. We did actually pass the ball quite well at times. There were various patterns that we were playing where you could see that this could be good. But there's no excuse to we didn't attack. It's like we respected them. It's like we were playing within ourselves so as not to lose. And I think I messaged you, didn't I, saying we're too slow. Why are we so slow? We've got quick players in our side, both in midfield and in attack and in defence, actually. Why are we playing so slow? It was like watching Man City versus Arsenal today. It was like, we are not playing a top-class team here. We're playing a very badly depleted Palace team. And I couldn't help thinking that if we'd have gone for it, showed a bit more speed, a bit more aggression, a bit more asserting ourselves, we could have won that game easily because they were never going to score. They were never going to score. So we didn't even have to worry about, we better be careful in defence. We had everything given to us to go forward in numbers and press, and pass, shoot, goals. None of that happened. It was like we were playing against one of the top teams and we were cautious in midfield, as you say, passing it sideways, passing it back, standing on the ball, holding up. Yeah, that's all great against the likes of Man City and Liverpool. Brilliant. But not against that Palace side.
I'm not saying we played bad.
100% right. That is anybody doesn't think that's 2 points dropped is fooling themselves. What people have said is, and they're right. Last season, we'd have killed for a 0-0 at Crystal Palace. I know we got 1-1, last game.
Yeah, but we got 1-0. I don't get that argument.
That would have been a good result last season. This season, against that side, it ain't a good result. It's 2 points dropped.
That's a great point. Why is there this comparison to last season against Palace? Cooper said it as well. Well, we drew, and they had a stronger team out there anyway. I know it's a dead rubber, but why is everything got to be compared to the equivalent game of last season? Why can't we compare it to where we are now, where our opponents are currently, and who should have gone into that game favorites? We, for me, were clear favorites with the team we put out there. Now, I'm not saying we played bad. I'm saying we didn't have that killer instinct. That's the point I'm making. I didn't think Forest went out there and was shit. I just thought it felt to me like a preseason style match. Dino, let me bring you in on here. Where do you sit on this whole thing?
Part agree, a big part disagrees. So I agree that we should have took all 3 points there. It was 2 points wasted against a very, very weak Palace side. Obviously missing key players. They're not going to be the team they've been in the previous couple of years. Somebody put about Dale Taylor earlier. I think he's out on loan, isn't he? Dale Taylor,
I put a song. I like that little kid's song.
Yeah. But for me, you know, I've got to stick to what I said at the beginning of the season, and I want to see progression this year. And progression for me is an extra 10 points and around mid-table. And we got a clean sheet. We could have been so much different if MGW's lob over the keeper wouldn't have hit that post. And it would have been so much different if Murillo did the easiest bit out of all that run and just put it either side of the goalkeeper. He had an open goal, just the goalkeeper to beat. If we'd have been sitting on 2-0, would this have been a different conversation now?
That's all ifs and buts. You can't say that, Dino. Sorry to interrupt you, but then that would be like saying if my titty didn't slip over when he had the easiest shot there, one chance and scored. Would we be having an even more different conversation? At the end of the day, whatever happened, the reality of what happened, it was 0-0. I get what you're saying.
The reality is there's a problem with Elanga. His first touch is absolutely shocking. It's like putting a baby there. You know, it's just bouncing off him. He had a great chance in the box, and it just literally bounced off his top of his shin when it seemed easier to control it with his foot. His first touch is ridiculous. He seems to be, to me, and I like him, and I want to give him a chance. He seems to me like a pace merchant to me. That's all he's got. A bit like Jono probably, but Jono had a bit more about him in terms of he could finish. He could finish a shot. I am worrying about Elanga a little bit. I know he's young. I know he's not had a great deal of football at Man United previously. Hudson-Odoi, I think, is a cracking player.
Yeah, I
thought MGW is very frustrating. So he's you know, he does some great things and then does some more awful things. He's never like consistently good. He seems to just like in and out all game. I was screaming for the entire match. Look up, look up. Whenever he got the ball, his head was down. Look up. It driving me mad. So there's elements that we just need to fix. And I think on another day, if we fix those bits, we'd have tonked them yesterday. We'd have tonked them. But my biggest worry is the backup for Awoniyi. I called it out a couple of weeks ago. If he gets injured, man, we're in the shit. And we are in the shit now. I do worry without him. That's our biggest problem right now. But as a team performance, listen, I like to see the fact that we've gone from a 5-back low block, which we would have done last year, to actually progressing up the pitch a bit further with a 4-back away from home. That's some progression for me.
That's a positive, yeah.
Murillo, good. You know, brilliant. Dominguez, in and out, but generally good. I thought he had a decent game. You know, Sangare, good touches, but again, not quite there yet.
Yeah. See, what's interesting on Sangare and Mangala, both Sai and Mark, I don't know if they're in the chat at the moment, they're both saying to me that you got it wrong. They had good games yesterday. They weren't average fives. I thought for me, Dominguez is the one who stepped up and grew into the game. And I felt that Mangala was a little Freuler-like for me yesterday. And the same with Sangare. He had a couple of decent passes. But again, without Decore in the Palace team, this is always back to my reference point. I'd expect Sangare to have dominated that midfield. That's the point for me there. Well, go on, Ant. What's your take on that?
No, I was going to say, you know what? I'm not worried about Sangare. The guy's class.
Nor am I. Yeah.
And I actually think he would have had a better game if Decore had played, because he would have had somebody to fight against. Yesterday, there was nothing in midfield. He was wandering about, nothing to do. and I thought Mangala was okay, by the way. I didn't think he ghosted. I thought he had a decent game. The big problem for me, and come at me if you like, is what the fucking hell are we playing Morgan Gibbs-White on the right side of midfield or right wing or whatever position you want to call it for? You are shoehorning that guy in there.
Yeah.
You are that is not his position. He never ever does anything decent when he plays there. But you're putting him there because it's Morgan Gibbs-White. If he was not Morgan Gibbs-White, you would not play him in that position.
He ended up wandering, didn't he, Anne? He ended up wandering around and then left a gaping hole on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
that's the
because
issue.
It's not his position.
If you're going to play that free role, you've got to play him from the 10 position, surely. I
was going to say the problem is, and I've said this before, Morgan Gibbs-White is a 10. Nobody plays. Very few people. Start again. Very few teams play with a 10 anymore. You've got Maddison at Tottenham. After that, I'm struggling to think of another team that plays a 10.
Bruno at Man U.
Yeah, but shit, man.
Yeah, but he's been put on the right. He's been put on the right.
Yeah, he's been shoehorned. He's been shoehorned. Again, similar story. Similar story.
I want to bring Man U up as an example of a team that's playing well with a number 10.
You just asked me who else played a 10.
The other one's De Bruyne, and he's injured.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
You get my point. That not many teams these days play with a 10. People play with my 2 8s. We don't play with 10s anymore. So you shoehorning a guy in because we don't play with a 10. All right, we don't play with 10. I'll stick him on the right then. No. Play people in their proper positions. If there's no room for number 10, don't play a number 10.
So what are you doing in Morgan Gibbs-White
now, where people talk about favourites? You're getting to the stage now where a lot of Forest fans now. I mean, I go down the ground. When we first got him, everybody worshipped him and that. I tell you, I hear a lot of moans down the ground now about MGW. Something's got to happen there. I think for the sake of the team.
Yeah, I think the future of MGW is probably going to be an 8, to be honest. I think that's his future. Or he'll end up going, because I don't think we're going to play with a 10. We've not got a backup 10 for a start, have we? He's got to stop shoehorning him on the right and the left. He's got to.
It unbalances.
You look at it, right? You had Wood in the middle. Sorry, let me just finish this. We had Wood in the middle.
Yeah, that's right.
We had MGW on the right. If ever there's a blockage there on the right-hand side, it's them two, because he's not going to run down the wing and he's not going to get forward. He's just going to hold the ball up. So there's the massive blockage there. The only time you're going to get forward through him is down the left-hand side.
And you are right. When you look at the average player position, MGW was playing higher up wide on the right, and Wood was playing on average just in front of the centre circle. Whereas when Taiwo's been playing, we've been playing decent lately under Taiwo. Taiwo's been the kind of spearhead of the arrow on that point. But both of you are saying that you would prefer a 4-3-3 over a 4-2-3-1. So are you actually saying MGW to be dropped? Let's just be clear here. Is this where you're going with this?
I think I've been quite clear about that.
Yeah, you've been okay.
Who would you play? I think now Big T's out. Who would you play now then? Who would you play in that front section?
Well, as you quite rightly said, Dino, now we have an issue. Now you're going to have to rejig the whole front line, aren't you?
So what would you do?
Start playing a false 9 or playing with a 10 or whatever.
Would you give Origi a chance then, or
no?
Would you stick with Wood?
No.
So we're stuffed then, aren't we? Because Hwang's gone, hasn't he? Is he out on loan?
I won't give him a chance either. I won't give him a chance either.
So we got the wrong Hwang, didn't we? We should have got Wolves as Hwang.
Yeah, I thought that. When I saw Hwang scored the other day, I thought, oh no, the other one.
I wonder if the recruitment team got it wrong. No, hang on a minute. It don't look like the Hwang we want.
Wait,
and you know what I'm clearing as well? You Forest are building their team around MGW. God help us. God help us if we're building a team around MGW. If he's like undroppable, then
I agree with that.
Listen, I'll back him.
The clear thing is you've got to play inside forwards. While we're missing Taiwo, we've got to play your left footer on the right side to cut in, and the vice versa. Oh, don't start with the Hwang jokes. Crypto.
Oh, God, I wish we'd have kept Dino? What have you sorted?
Just before we move on,
he'd do. Yeah, get Jesus from Arsenal. He'd do. He'd be all right.
Yeah, but they played him on the right today. He's forward.
Yeah, it's
mad, man. He's like, I'm screaming at the TV.
I didn't think that was a very clever idea. I didn't think that was a very clever idea.
Ants, at the moment, you've got us playing with 10 men. I can't let this pass. You said no to Wood. You said no to Origi. You said no to MGW as a false 9. You're playing with 10 men then. What are you doing here?
Yeah, but you're asking me to put a player in there for the sake of it.
Well, you have to field 11.
Yeah. No, I normally go 12, don't I? I'll get it right one day. No, we need to buy somebody.
Jan, who's your attacker? Is it the one you were putting in earlier?
What?
Jan, just put your new attacker again. I think it's Tammy Abraham, isn't it? He's not coming to Forest.
A lot of people said Tammy Abraham. For me, I think one of the 3 Brazilians we were linked with in the summer, or any 3 of them, would be fantastic. Young. I mean, the recruitment team. Let's be positive here for a second. Our South American recruitment team has been absolutely on the money. Honestly,
it's the Newcastle recruitment team we need to worry about.
But it's
our Newcastle recruitment team.
Yeah, the Shelby's and Wood of the world. But the South American recruitment team has been fantastic. I don't get why those 3 Brazilians that we were linked with, who we did a couple of scouting reports on, exactly like Marcus, you got Leonardo. Marcus Leonardo is brilliant. Who was the guy with the long hair and the spotty face? I forgot his name. Nessa chat, you'll remember who he was.
Nessum Dorma.
That's the one. He was little Pavarotti. He was brilliant, right, as well. So I don't know why these didn't get over line. Obviously, we had to build the midfield. Huh?
Is Tammy Abraham still alive? I've not heard anything about him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's still decent, but he won't come. He won't come.
Roma wanted rid of him.
That's the one. Thank you, Si.
Yeah, because that's Pele's name, isn't it? That's Pele's
That's the one I want. I think he's fantastic. So we should get him. So I think the recruitment should come from South America again. John Joe.
I would put money on it. I would put money on it, mate. I would put money on it. We get a young South American striker in January.
I'd take it. I'll take it, as
they
say.
I think we need a January striker. That's all. I think that's all we need, to be honest.
I think we need another winger. I don't.
Maybe, maybe.
I'm still not convinced on both of them. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi looks okay. I think Elanga started off hot and convinced me, but then over the last couple of games, I've been more unconvinced. It's just that thing that Nick said to me about Elanga. He goes, you'll love him because he tracks back, he works hard, but he's got no finish. And I'm starting to see that in the last few games. That ball Dominguez put through to him was an absolute peach yesterday, and he fluffed the control on it, man. He should have controlled that and then just slotted it in.
What's your opinion on Mangala? Because I'm a kind of mixed about Mangala. I see him as having, he's good in possession of the ball, but then he fades in almost every game. He's almost a one-half man for me. And he's like got 1 goal for us, isn't he, in all his starts? Which was a decent shot from outside the box from what I remember. I can't remember who it was against.
Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. The way it leads, yeah.
I don't know. I just think that more goals need to come from that midfield and the wingers, man. It's just we're too reliant on Taiwo. It's ridiculous.
Mangala is
now Taiwo's going through a bit of a dry patch, and now he's injured. Where's the goals going to come from?
Mangala's never going to score your goals. Dominguez can score your goals. Danilo can score your goals. Don't forget, we are forgetting that Danilo sat on the on the injury list at the moment. Let's remember we've got for. Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, we don't know, because a week ago Cooper said he was close. Then this week he says he's the furthest away. Yeah, and he said, but he's back out on the grass. But he didn't confirm. The worrying thing is he didn't confirm if he was doing straight line running or diagonal running.
He was proud in his post-match. He was proud in his post-match that he kept the big T thing quiet, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was almost prouder than the result. It was a bit weird.
Yeah. I managed to keep it quiet, but
keep it quiet. Yes. I'm like, why?
Let me just show you this stat right from yesterday. We had 16 shots yesterday.
Yeah.
5 on target. But when you break it down, when you deep it, boys, right? Wood had 0 shots.
It's got an old teenager.
I'm acting my age now. Wood had 0 shots. Hudson-Odoi 0. Sangare 0. Gibbs White 2. Mangala 2. Dominguez 1. Bolly 2. Aurier 2. Murillo 2. Tuffalo 2. Czech Quixote, who was on for 5 minutes, had more shots than Wood. He had 1. and Elanga had 1. Most of our shots, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 shots of the 16 came from our defenders. And only 2 shots of the 16 came from our starting attackers. No, they were both from Morgan Gibbs-White. This is the worry for me. We're feeling toothless, boys. Let's be real here. It's feeling a little toothless up front.
Yeah. I mean, Gibbs-White was unlucky. I thought he took that. It's coming over his head, wasn't he? He took it well over the keeper. It's just unlucky that was.
Yeah. I've got no problem with. I mean, I know that Wolverine thinks he should have scored it, but I think he controlled that. It's a difficult ball to control.
Yeah, it's a difficult ball.
And I think he controlled it well. Most of those go.
Wolverine's not played football. He's only played FIFA, man. Yes.
And Football Manager. I got us to.
I am willing to give Elanga time because I know this is it doesn't always translate, but growing up, he was one of the stars at Man United coming through their academy. I'm willing to give him time. He's a young player. Maybe Steve Cooper can improve him. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, I've been surprised by him, how good he is and how much class he's got. When he takes on players, he looks fantastic. He can dribble past players wonderfully well. Of course, he scored a magnificent goal as well. So I'm not worried about those two. But you made the remark, Wolverine, that you think we might need a winger to replace one of those.
Yeah,
I think we need a winger anyway, not to replace them, but if one gets injured,
we haven't got one.
So we definitely need.
Although, we haven't got one, but we've got 2 that can play there. In my opinion, I think Aina can play there, and I also think Montiel can play there,
and Tavares.
Yeah. Oh, maybe Tavares as well. But I've not seen. Yeah, I've not seen a lot of Tavares in the past. I've got to be honest.
You're
I
lucky.
said that before.
You're lucky.
He's honestly, he's magnificent going forward. He really is.
Yeah, he is good going forward. He's terrible at defending.
Yeah, David, we're going to give Elanga time, but his touch worries me, David. His touch.
But what we don't want to do, Dino, is I absolutely agree with you both when you say we've got like Tavares and Montiel, but really we want proper wingers, don't we? Because again, you're taking away from those guys. All of a sudden, you've not got another. You're not. And if you use Montiel, then you've lost a right back, haven't you? And if you use Awoniyi, then you've lost a left back or a right. You know what I mean? So
fair point.
Yeah, I don't know if wingers are becoming as rare as strikers nowadays, though, because
no, there's plenty.
You've got Man United. They got Anthony's shocking. Garnacho can't seem to get a regular game for him, and they're playing.
He's another one blown out of proportion, isn't he?
They play with Fernandes out there, and he drifts in midfield. And you ought to see their heat map. If you think our heat map's bad, it's literally missing down that right hand side until Rashford switches.
I still would have liked us to have a crack at Nonto.
With shit, aren't you?
Nonto, definitely.
Nonto would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
And I reckon, here's what I think. I don't know if anyone agrees with me. I feel the recruitment over the summer, I thought it was brilliant. But I thought it was designed for a narrow formation, like a 5-3-1-1 or something like that. Because there was it's definitely designed for a 5-back. If it wasn't designed for a 5-back, then I'll revise what I said about brilliant recruitment. Because you don't go and buy 6 million fullbacks and centre backs if you're going to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. I think the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi and Elanga were brought in sole purpose to replace Jono. 50 million for Jono, and we end up paying total of 20 million to get 2 players, just under, for those 2. But now I think Cooper's developing, and now it's the case of I think we're going to have to go shopping again in January for the upfront side. What's really good, let me just say this, what's really good is I feel the defense is stable. Yeah, I feel the midfield is probably overkill stable. I don't think you need Mangala, Dominguez, and Sangare against a Crystal Palace. Yes, against a Man City or an Arsenal or whatever, yeah? I think 2 of those could do the job. And now I think the next phase is, okay, we got to start scoring goals because you ain't going to win shit if you ain't scoring goals. And that's where the worry now lies. I feel very confident with the back 4 now that Warren and McKenna are out the team. I don't think he's got the right exact combo yet. I think the players are right, but I think it's overkill. It's the attacking third for me where it's still, it's not right, especially with Taiwo out. Sorry, go on.
Who was that Leeds right winger that's just moved to a Premier League club?
Sinisterra.
Sinisterra. Sinisterra. That's it.
Sinisterra.
No, the other one. The other one.
Harrison.
Yeah, Harrison. Oh, he would have
Good
been
player.
good for us, you know.
Good player.
He's a
I like
good player.
Scored yesterday, yeah, but he's been injured.
Yeah,
He's been injured.
somebody else has snapped him up. For me, what I was going to say was, I'm kind of a little bit sad because I did like Dennis. I'm sad that he's gone because he would have.
Yeah,
he's got a goal in him, man. He's got a goal in him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's only on loan though.
We've always backed him to get a chance, haven't we? You know, we can't be blamed for that one. We've always said he should be given a chance.
Yeah.
Now
and Iheanacho, we were definitely heavily linked with Iheanacho for a long time.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, you liked him.
It was quite close, wasn't it? It was at one point.
Yeah, I didn't realise he'd been at Leicester for so long.
Doing well, Leicester.
It's been like 6 years or something. Silly.
So what's the? Oh, sorry, go on.
Let me just do this super chat. Do you know crypto with the 499? All this talk about which striker, and there's one free agent sat right there, right here dissing FIFA. Yeah. Haaland,
That's for sell by date, crypto.
And just thank you, Crypto, for the 499. Just very quickly, there's like 3 hours left to vote for the content awards. I've pinned the link in the chat. If you guys wouldn't mind clicking that, even if you've already voted, just vote again if you don't mind.
You can see, can you see now? I'm just about to click it because I've not voted yet.
Oh, great! I'll get your vote in, and yeah,
I'm just about to do it.
Exactly. So give us a vote and make sure. I think there's a couple of other Forest content creators who've been nominated. Show them some love in there as well. Let's really push the Forest name in the YouTube world. Sorry, Dino, I interrupted you. You were about to say something.
No, I kind of finished that bit. I just think that I don't want it to feel like it's a big depression against Palace. I know you two probably feel stronger than I do, but I still see progression. And it's not an overnight thing. We're not going, and I'm definitely more up for what I'm seeing this season than what I saw last season. So I'll leave that one there. Luton Town, I'm not convinced we're very good against these sort of sides, you know. We seem to struggle, don't we? Against the crapper sides, we seem to struggle. Crapper sides in the league, on paper, we do seem to struggle. And we seem to raise a game against the bigger sides. So I'm a bit worried about Luton, to be honest. I shouldn't be.
Luton looked okay against Spurs yesterday.
Huh? Yeah.
Luton looked all right against Spurs.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I said, and people will probably take this disrespectfully. It's not. It's what I see. Cooper, I'm less worried about the Liverpool game after that than I am about the Luton game because Cooper's... No, because what I'm saying is Cooper's got locked in his vision against those big six teams. He knows he's going to play a back five. He knows he's going to go 3 across the middle, hit him with pace on the counter attack. He's got that locked in. My worry is the other 14 teams, or 13 teams technically, where he hasn't got it locked in yet. And I know everyone's saying, wait, be patient and do this, yeah? But there's only a set amount of games where you get opportunities like we had yesterday. Everyone keeps telling me every game in the Premier League is really hard. There's no easy game. Yesterday on paper was an easy game. And that's why I was so frustrated about it. I'll say again, I don't think we played crap. It wasn't like we had 2s and, 1 performances across the pitch. We just didn't take the game to them enough, in my opinion. So, yeah, I am worried about the Luton game because I think we'll win. I think Luton should be a free 6 points for every team, apart from Everton, obviously, for everyone in the Premier League. But they did play well against Spurs. By playing well, I mean they basically low blocked their asses off and nearly got away with it. So I am worried about that one. Against Liverpool, you roll the dice. It may end up being another Chelsea. You never know.
How do we beat the low block, man? We can't beat the low block.
Yeah.
We are low block experts from last season. We will struggle to beat the low block every time somebody does it against us this season. Which is why we struggled against Sheffield United.
I just think touch on what... Sorry.
Yeah, go on. No, go on.
No, I was going to touch on what you just said about being encouraged by the way we're playing, etc. I'm absolutely encouraged by the way we're playing. I'm encouraged by it. I mean, okay, yesterday we failed to score, but I was encouraged by the way we planned the game out, the fact that we were more progressive, the fact we went for it at the back. And to be fair to Cooper, and you can believe him or not, it's up to you. He actually said after the game that he's a bit disappointed, but at least as I can see, and I'm sure you'd agree, Dino, you can see a progression in the style of football we're trying to play. And he says, we're not there yet. I was disappointed in certain aspects, but we want to be That's the way we want to play going forward. Now, if that's true, that's great encouragement. And I'll back Steve Cooper all the way. If he continues to show that ambition, if you like, and playing a better brand of football, because we have better players now. As I've said before, last season was last season. I didn't care. Low block your life away. I don't care. This season we need to play football, and we are starting to play football, and that was encouraging.
Okay.
The fact that he said we are going to continue to do this is promising.
Okay, let me counter you there, Ant, with the other side of the argument. And to be honest, I'm starting to sway towards this one. When is it going to be no longer we're working towards it? And we are there.
I think, I think that we've got to, this is a season-long thing. But you've got to see progression. You can't just stand still. So if by game 30, we are playing a brand of football and scoring goals and winning games, then yes, we've got there. I'm not expecting to happen next week because we do have a lot of new players in that side. We are trying to hopefully change the brand of football we're playing. And that isn't an overnight instant success for anybody. Look at Chelsea, for God's sake. You know, it does take time. And I think we need to be a little bit patient on that. But if I start to see regression, if I start to see him shitting his pants and going 5 at the back and stuff against Luton, then that's a different matter. As long as I can see progression, I'm willing to let it go game by game.
Same.
I
think
just go on, Dina.
I just going to say one thing that is driving me a little bit crazy is Cooper's press conferences, where he'll buy a load of players and then he'll make an excuse that they're all bonding, and we can't keep doing that every transfer window. I think Marinakis needs to keep his hands not completely out of his pocket, but I think we need a striker and, like you say, a winger. But I don't think we need anything else. We certainly don't need any central defenders or midfielders, and we've got plenty of players that can play at fullback. So if we get one flexible winger or 2 maybe at max, and then one other better striker, we don't need anybody else. And then he's not got that excuse, has he? And we should be able to keep the same sort of side week in, week out. And like I said last week, that, you know, if people are playing well in the side, the rest will have to wait. They'll have to wait the turn. That's how it happens in football. You're playing well, unless you're the England manager. You're playing well, you get in the team. And that's why Bolly's retained his place.
Okay, but again, let me counter. We've scored 4 goals in the last 6 games. We haven't won a match in 4 games. Yeah. I think Wake Up's saying that, what if Luton beat us? I mean, well, that's a bit of whataboutism, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when and if that happens. Hopefully not. But there's going to get a stage where you can't just keep saying, yeah, we're progressing. Dino, your point is spot on. It seems like every transfer window, we're like, well, now we bought some more players. We've got to restart the clock, rebed, and redo it. Yeah. That has to, I mean, you could throw that to every team in the Premier League. Everyone's bought some players. Yes, they may not have bought as many as we did or what have you, but those ones that didn't buy as many as we did, I guarantee you call their manager up now and ask him if you'd want, you know, a set of 10 more players. They'd say yes. So there can't be this hiding behind something that's Marinakis has done that's brilliant to then just extend the mourning period, if you like, of how much time there's got to be. There has to be a cutoff point at some time. And the key point here is the big eye opener for me this week was, I don't know if you saw Callum Hudson-Odoi's interview on Sky, where they asked him at the end, they said to him, what are Forest's objectives and what are your objectives? And it's the first time we've had a straight answer. And I actually believe the answer he gave. And he said, as a club, we want to, our target is to finish top 10. And I think that's coming straight from Marinakis. And
that's brilliant, isn't it?
And that's fantastic. And what is wrong with that ambition? People say, oh, your chairman is deluded, your owner's deluded, blah, blah, blah. No, he's not. Aim high. If you miss by a bit, it's better than aiming low and missing, you know? So that, for me, if that's the take on it, it doesn't matter where I think Forest should finish. It doesn't matter where Dino thinks Forest should finish. It's all in Marinakis' hands. If he's targeting top 10, would you guys say we have a top 10 squad? It would be question number 1 for me. What do you think, Dino? Is this squad a top 10 squad?
The first 11.
Chat, what do you think?
Yeah, the first 11 and beyond it in certain positions, yes. I'd put us as top 8, to be honest. As a squad, as players individually. I don't think they're being used to the best of their ability, and that's got to be down to the management team. But I'm not knocking the management team because I do see progression this year, and I'm pleased. And if we finished 10th, I'll be delighted, absolutely delighted this season. And somebody put earlier on, we're novices, we're only 2 years in. You're right, quite right. And 10th will be good progression for us. But we do have certain positions where we are blissfully weak, really, really weak. And that's going to catch us if we're not careful. I would take 10th today. If you said, give me 10th, I would take it today.
I think we all would, mate.
I'd take a 1-0 against Luton as well.
Yeah. What about you, Ed? Do you see this as a top 10 squad?
Me? Yeah, I do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think you had it spot on earlier on when you said that defensively, absolutely. That's a top 10 defensive squad, if that makes sense. Same with midfield. Absolutely. My God, our midfield is frightening. If players like Santos... By the way, why wasn't Santos brought on against Palace? Anyway, that's another subject.
Ask Romano.
Yeah. Our midfield, without doubt, top 10. Come on. You know.
Is it though, Ant? Has it got the creativity?
Well, you love MGW. He's supposed to be creative, isn't he?
Yeah, I
do think we have creativity anyway. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think Dominguez is quite creative. I think Sangare is quite creative. I think Danilo is quite creative. So yeah, I think we have enough for to be top 10. We should be controlling most games in the midfield with the options we have. Not to mention, I know he's on loan, but Santos as well. But as we say, it's up front is not top 10. Now, whether we'll have enough, I'm concerned that we won't have enough with the defence in the midfield to compensate for the lack of top 10 quality up front. That's my worry. We need a striker and a winger. I think if we got a couple of great comments here, a good winger, I think that we would have a top 10 squad. At the moment, it's a bit, I'm unsure because we ain't scoring many goals.
Yeah, let's get into those comments, Dina. Before we do, there's like nearly 300 of you in here and 64 likes. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. And Ant the Hat, thank you so much for the 4.99. Again, he makes a really interesting point here. Aston Villa's manager, instant progression. Why make so many excuses? I want to see us win out against Palace. End of. It's a great point. Aston Villa were nearly bottom of the league, and then Emery comes in, bang.
Eddie Howe, another one.
Yeah.
Look where Newcastle finished. Eddie Howe came in, and now look at them.
Yeah.
So both those sides had good players in a relatively settled squad. We got 30 players last year and another 15 this year. That's why.
Fair, but both of those teams had come up from the Championship in recent history as well.
I think by Cooper's, I think he'd admit that he's probably. I think for us, we've got one of the best. If you're talking about a league table of owners and managers, I think our owner is top 3. Personally, I think he's brilliant. I think our manager probably below mid-table for me, whereas Eddie Howe for me is one of the top managers in the league, and I think so is the Villa manager. I think he's the same. A greaseball.
I agree. I agree with Eddie Howe. I don't know about. It depends on where you want to be. Depends where you want to be, I suppose.
Well, they were in the mud, mate. Villa were in the mud when Gerrard was there, and then he took over.
They were awful.
Literally instant, wasn't it?
They were awful. Absolutely, one of the worst teams I saw last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gerrard, man, come on. You're talking about going from Gerrard to Emery. I mean, that's going to be an upgrade.
So where's Cooper in your league table then?
Pardon?
Where's Cooper in your league table of managers? Because it's part of the team. And this isn't a jibe at Cooper, but it is part of the, part of the team.
Well, let's ask the chat as well. Let's ask the chat. 1 to 20, where would you rank Cooper in managers in the Premier League?
Emery is better than Ten Hag. Agree with that.
I'm better than Ten Hag.
I'm better than Ten Hag.
He's literally got no plan B.
That guy. I saw again in the Man U today. I don't blame the players. I don't blame Ten Hag. I blame the Glaziers. For fuck's sake, man.
All right. Stop diverting the question. Right? Where's Cooper in your 1 to 20, Ant?
Mid-table.
Put a number on it.
15th.
15th. Okay.
I'm around 12, 13, I would say.
It's difficult because they've all got different squads, haven't they? They've all got different ambitions. I think with our squad, though, by the end of this season, we should be really purring. So if he doesn't do that, then obviously his ranking goes down. He has to succeed with this squad. He has to succeed with this squad.
Most people have put, I mean, there's 8 from Nicky, there's a 7 up there from Rufus, 9 from, but most have got him below mid-table. And that's got to be a factor, hasn't it? It's got to be a factor.
And this isn't a Cooper's
probably
debate.
Underperforming compared to the players we have.
Yeah, but the players aren't settled in, would be the argument back.
And that's
fair.
Correct.
That's fair. And I think
we are
fair.
Forest fans. We are Forest fans, so our expectations for our club is going to be higher than a Villa fan looking at our club. He would probably say, no, Cooper's doing a brilliant job. You know, you've come up, you've got all these new players. Look at how other teams have come up and gone straight back down. He's brilliant. Because I hear that a lot. I don't think I've ever heard a pundit not say how fantastic Steve Cooper is. Because we look at it differently, because we are Forest fans and our expectations are way up.
Yeah, it's like
ask
whenever you
ask the Sheffield United fan if they'd rather have Cooper, you know.
Yeah,
I've seen him improve since last season, personally.
I think the squad improved.
In a lot of ways. I think he's not afraid to drop his favourites.
That's true.
So I think he's got some strength there. I think he's now more flexible with the formations. I never thought we'd saw a 4 away against Palace, personally, at the back. But, you know, I do think he's been slowish on the changes, personally.
I think I agree with a lot of what you said there. I think he has progressed. He's done it slower than what I would have liked in terms of certain players being dropped, etc. Where do I rank him in the 20? I think the squad is better than the manager currently. I would probably put him about somewhere between 14th and 16th for me, being realistic. That's where I'd have him. Because I'd ask this question. If I don't know, an Emery had this team, do you think Forest would be higher or lower than they are currently? And I'd say higher. So kind of if you run through manager by manager, I haven't done it. We've just come up with the question off the whim. Probably let me broaden it. 13th to 16th, I'd say something around there. Probably 15th because the other managers are shite, aren't they? Your Sheffield United.
Yeah, probably higher than that. But I just think that the downside is that his tactic that he's always loved doesn't seem to work for him in the Premier League. So he's had to change. I think that's the point. I think, sorry, can I bring this back up before we go back to Simon?
Yeah.
Sorry, Simon. Our expectations, I don't know where you're going with this, Chris, because my expectations are 10 points better than last year. That's my expectations. And I don't think the guys are, other than Wolverine, who says 4th every year.
I said 7th or 8th this year.
7th or 8th, which isn't unreasonable, is it? And what was your expectations? I don't think our expectations are unreasonable.
Mine. I don't like the word expectations because you can't expect anything in football. But you can have what you would be satisfied, what you would be satisfied with. And for me, I'm very much along with Dino on this. I think if we can improve our points total by 10 and finish 14th or above, for me, that's progress. I mean, I don't think any of us this season are fearing relegation. Last season, we were. Huh?
Yeah, no, I agree. But that adds
last season, I
don't think you can get relegated.
Our expectations have grown from last season. Last season was 17th, avoid relegation. This season, we're saying, we want to be 14th and above, or maybe some people might be 12th and above or whatever. So our expectations have risen, but I don't think they've risen unrealistically, apart from the obvious.
Okay, well, you can say that, yeah, but you can say what you want. I got Marinakis in my corner, because if my expectations are ridiculous, then you lot have to throw that same mud in Marinakis's face.
If you ask me to put money on, whether we would finish in the top 10 or the bottom 10, I know that's not actually possible, but you know what I'm saying. I would say top 10. That's what my hopes expectations are. I think we are capable of finishing in the top 10.
But what is wrong with having deluded expectations?
Nothing.
Who is anyone to tell? If I wanted to feel that Forest could win the league, yeah, that's my absolute entitlement to do that.
Absolutely.
You know? And you know what? I would say every team in the top 20. I think Neville Southall said this once, going back in the day. He said that Everton would always go, into every league season wanting to win the league until that position became mathematically impossible. Then they downgrade to second, third, etc. And I think what's wrong with that? Aim higher. If you miss by a smaller margin with your aims higher, it's better than missing by smaller margins with lower aims. So I don't care what people expect. Some people may even think relegation. It's up to them to think that. But we've got to get the super chat in from Sai. Thank you so much, Sai, for the £5. Big up as always to FFTV, and much love to Ez. Ez is doing a lot better today. We've spoken to him, and we hope for good news, and he'll be back soon. Respect as well to Lee Wood, the best result yesterday and a proper comeback. Yeah, big up to Lee Wood. I'm not a huge boxing fan these days, but I did keep an eye on his result. It was a lovely little knockout he did there. So big shout out to Lee Wood for flying that Nottingham flag as well. Okay, let's finish with this, and big shout out to Jack for 6 months as well. It's deluded. That's what's wrong with it. LOL, you said yourself, it's deluded. It doesn't matter if it's deluded, sensible. All right. Is it deluded to have expected Leicester and Leeds to both have been, and Southampton to have all gone down last year, and the 3 promoted clubs to stay up? If you said that at the start of the year, would that have been deluded? Would you have been deluded if you were a Leicester fan in 2016 and said that Leicester would win the league? There's no, because unless you have a crystal ball, Cullis, unless you have a crystal ball, there is no such thing as deluded unless you can factually prove it will be. What, Ant?
You've got to know what's coming up now. You've got to know. Was it deluded in 1977 when we got promoted in 3rd place on goal difference to say that Forest could win the league, and then the next year win the European Cup, and then the next year win the European Cup again? That's fucking deluded. Hang on.
Anybody got a black and white filter?
I expected more from you, Dino. Like a bit of backing.
I know, I was there, buddy. I was there.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Because if these things are deluded or unobtainable or what have you, then why turn up? Was it deluded to think that Luton would go away and beat Everton the other day? You know, this is football.
Was it deluded for Leicester City fans to think they could win the league?
Okay, well,
let's get on the hot seat because he's getting a bit spammy. He wants us to answer this. I kind of ignored the first one, and I'll be probably flippy floppy, man, and I'll be going mad. But that's football, isn't it?
If we lose to Luton, I'll lose my shit. I will lose my shit.
I'll worry if we lose to Luton, but I would take a 1-0 because I think we're struggling up front. It wouldn't surprise me if we draw because we've got nothing up front.
Obviously,
so that's my answer.
It'll be a massive blow. It would be a massive blow, but it won't change anything for me.
Yeah, it does.
Hang on. It won't define our season.
It won't define. It's not a must-win.
Okay, do you know what we got after Luton then, Ant? We got Liverpool away, Villa at home, West Ham away, Brighton, and then we don't get into a decent run until December where we got Everton and Fulham.
And then we've got a transfer window.
So
it does. We had Sheffield United. We had Brentford at home. We had, who else did we have at home? That's crap. Somebody else crap at home. That we got Burnley.
Sheffield United, Burnley. Yeah.
We had Palace away with no players. We expected to win them. So football was a funny old game. I might have said that before.
Yeah, but the point I'm making here is if you don't beat Luton and then say you lose to Liverpool, Villa, West Ham, Brighton, yeah, that then puts us 9 games without a win. Yeah, and don't tell me the mood won't change. Don't tell me the mood won't change, right? Because
why do you think that we wait to the day after for doing this stream? Because if we'd have done it last night, it'd have been completely different. It'd have been more hardcore. Correct?
Don't tell them
Okay.
that. You know,
Sleep on
they wanted to do it straight after the game.
I know, yeah. It's not good.
Yeah, no, we used to,
Probably
but
good for
then
stadium.
emotions were running high. Yeah, I agree. It is a must win, but we got 2 weeks to build up to the Luton game. That's the problem right now. Oh, the stupid international break. Stupid.
Oh,
You don't know.
God.
Tyro might make a surprise comeback. It's happened before.
He might
I
do,
don't know.
actually, yeah.
I
Might.
don't know.
It'll be
Cooper's
3 weeks.
like?
That'll be 3. No, it'll be 2 weeks, won't it? He's been out.
I know it's a lot of ifs. That's why I said we'll cross that when Ant the Hat brought it up earlier. I said we'll cross that bridge if it doesn't happen. That's what I was saying. But seeing that it was forced down our throats by Ant the Hat, shout out to Ant the Hat. That it's worrying because of the run we have coming up after. So you
better
forced
against
the
better
answer out of me.
clubs. I think we play better against better clubs. Personally, I think we really struggle against the bottom teams.
Yeah, because we can't attack.
We really do.
In a nutshell.
Internationals can fuck off. I'm dreading it, man. 21st in it when we're back. My God, that's like months away.
And then there's another one in November.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh God,
it's crazy.
Nobody wants them. What the hell are we playing Australia in a friendly for? Why?
I'd like to think.
Not only are we playing Australia in sorry, I'm going to go off on one. Not only are we playing fucking Australia in a friendly, but he'll play the same. That shit twat manager will play the same crap fucking players. We've got Maguire in there who doesn't play. It's got Phillips in there who doesn't play. It's got Henderson who retired to Saudi Arabia. And he's going to be fucking playing the same players and the same style against Australia. What is the fucking point? None. All it does is knacker players, bore all the fucking fans to shit. God, I hate international break. I'm not looking forward to it.
Minutes in legs. Minutes in legs.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
On that note, we've gone over the quota. We'll wrap it up there. All right, guys, there still will be content coming up over the international break. Please get those votes in if you haven't already. Please hit that like button if you haven't already as well. We still will be, the show will go on. and Mark, I saw your comment, Mark. Yeah, me and you will get in the boxing ring, Mark, and we'll thrash out my player ratings that everyone's had a fat go at me for.
Yeah, one shot on everyone there.
I stand by every single rating. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. As are you guys entitled to not agree with it. And as always, let's finish off by talking about the more important things than football. Best love and wishes to Ez. All our thoughts are with him. He will hopefully be back very, very soon. Paul, you're an absolute legend. Keep those votes coming in. Get those likes over 100 as well. We will see you on the next video. And come on, you Reds.